Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. NASA is planning to probe deeper into Uranus than they ever have before.
Tony Kornheiser, I certainly hope it's more comfortable this time.
Do you ever
It's so great. It's so great that you did the Uranus joke. People all over America are happy. They're applauding you. They're laughing. It's very funny. It's a good job.
People all over America are dopes.
Maybe some are, but let's not insult our audience.
Why not?
We have the highest intellectual
We just
quality
gave
of people.
them a Uranus joke
Because
we started by insulting them.
It's always funny.
Yeah.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Rajon Rondo sits with the fans, Gordon Hayward wins a game, and Vince Carter joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with LeBron James playing a meaningless game last night against Denver, but getting meaningful points. LeBron's 14th point last night nudged him ahead of Michael Jordan for 4th on the all-time NBA scoring list. Afterwards, LeBron said, quote, "Of all the stuff I've done in my career, this ranks right up there at the top with winning a championship," unquote. Wilbon, is that how you see it?
It is now. I didn't see it that way going in. I wasn't going to watch much of the game because there were better games on at the same time. But then, Tony, I looked at LeBron, and I got to go back to some stuff that happened. First of all, his words, the sentiments were sincere and eloquent as far as I was concerned. The tribute to Jordan written on LeBron's sneakers. And him talking about knowing as a kid in Akron he needed inspiration and finding it in Jordan. I mean, this was extraordinary stuff, and I am not going to make light of it. It is, if LeBron James, given all of his accomplishments, can sit there in a reflective way and say, this is way up here on the short list for me, then yes, LeBron's word to me is gospel on this, and I am not going to question it.
So I love LeBron James, and I have a different reaction to it. I mean, to me, getting into 4th place doesn't mean much. Getting into 1st place, big deal. Getting into 2nd place, so next is first, is a big deal.
Who's in 4th.
I know, but
that's the big deal.
4th place, as they say in the play, you're fired. I mean, it doesn't really mean much to me. The other part of this is that when you say it feels like a championship, or it's a comparable feeling to a championship, to me, the only thing that feels like a championship is a championship. This is not a championship. And even if you gave him a championship, that's 4, and Jordan has 6. This is one of the very few times where I am in the comparative business. You're out of the comparative business on this one, and I'm in it on this one.
But it is comparative. He's comparing. This is his idol. And you know what? People think that because we in media and fans and people who pay attention observe, we get into this GOAT business. Which one? And LeBron has said he's the GOAT. Fine. I'm going to set that aside for a second. LeBron James had Michael Jordan's poster on his wall. He idolized Michael Jordan. So the relationship between them, however strong it is, it may not be all that great. Tony, this is a narrative that is completely different from arguing over the GOAT. These are two guys that respect each other at a level.
I'm going to go to one other thing.
That is the comparison.
I'm going to go to one other thing.
What?
Michael Jordan spent 3 years in college.
Yeah.
Ron spent no years in college. Neither did Kobe, who's the next one up on the list.
That's right.
No years in college. Michael Jordan spent 2 years playing baseball. Michael Jordan spent 3 years as an executive with the Wizards before he went back. If we are not having this conversation,
that's true.
If Michael Jordan comes straight out of high school, he sets numbers that nobody gets to.
Tony, Michael Jordan is the highest scoring player on average per game, and it's like 3+ points ahead of LeBron per game. But I thought this is a much bigger deal when I saw LeBron's reaction, for me. A visual late in the Lakers-Nuggets game started a firestorm of sorts. Rajon Rondo could be seen sitting about 20 feet from his teammates, somewhere approaching midcourt all by himself and no way physically connected to the others. Rondo told reporters afterward he had done this 8 to 10 times this season, and nobody had said much anything. Yeah. Tony, big problem, little problem, no problem at all. Was Rondo sitting where he was next to that little kid late in the game?
So I have no problem at all if he had bought that seat. I would have thought it was odd to come to the game in a uniform, but okay, if that's what you want to do. I would have no problem at all if he was going to the scorer's table to get into the game. But the fact that he was just sitting there by himself as a Laker while the game is going on is terrible. It is no respect at all for Luke Walton. It emasculates Luke Walton in a way that maybe is okay with management with the Lakers. This is terrible. If you're Magic Johnson, you have only 2 options now. You go to him and you say, we're going to fine you and you can never do that again. It's just terrible. Or we're going to cut you today.
Man, This is another one.
And another guy I love as a player.
Where the reaction to this, I'm going to admit up front, it changed my reaction. My first reaction was, Rondo's a little far from the bench. This is sort of funny. And then I think Mark Jackson in live time
said, hated it.
No. You can't have this. And I listened to people that I have worked with and covered first, then worked with later. I mean, guys like Jalen and Jay Will, and everybody said, oh no, you cannot have this. And I felt embarrassed because I didn't think it was a big deal at first. Rondo had done this multiple times this season. I just didn't think much of it.
Why?
I feel reprimanded and put in my place now by these are guys, they own the sport. Players, coaches, they take ownership.
It's terrible.
If they say this is awful, I see.
It's terrible to the coach. You know what I wonder about?
There's a lot less. There's a lot more things that seem terrible.
I'm going to work this around to LeBron a little bit.
What?
You know, because you can talk about LeBron forever and ever. I wonder if he feels sorry that he went to the Lakers.
No.
I wonder if he feels like, what am I doing here? Because you know what? They got to blow that up. Like most of these people
on that squad, up 2 weeks ago.
Most of these people, they've got to be gone next year. And Rajon Rondo's been on championships, and he's a brilliant basketball player.
Is.
But the antagonism of this is amazing that you don't see it. You didn't see it that way.
I didn't originally.
Wow.
I came late to the party on that one.
The Boston Celtics backed up their win over the Warriors the other night by beating the Kings last night. Once again, Gordon Hayward was the spark, hitting the game-winning basket with 2 seconds to go. Perhaps coincidentally, Kyrie Irving sat out the game with a thigh bruise. Wilbon, the Celtics are 10-2 this season when Kyrie sits. They are 7-0 in their last 7 when Kyrie sits. How much do you read into this?
More than I was a couple of games ago. I'm reading more into it now. I watched every possession of that Sacramento game. That's why I turned off of the LeBron game, because I'm watching that game got to be entertaining too late. But the Celtics-Kings game, Tony, was fascinating. In terms of the sense of urgency the Celtics played with, the way they shared the ball, you can see you don't even need the stats, and the stats support about 3 more assists per game when Kyrie Irving's not in the game. But you don't need to see that to know the ball moved, bodies moved. There was an urgency about them. And so I'm going, wow. Now, they got to be able to get this with Kyrie in the game, on the floor, because they ain't going without him. They're not going without Kyrie. He is going to walk through that door and into the lineup. So they got to figure out how to do this with him.
So the stat that I like even more than this stat is the fact that Gordon Hayward, when he shoots more than 50%, and I think he was 6 for 10 last night.
19-2?
They're 19-2. Yeah. And when he doesn't, they're 17-22. So the sweet spot, and a lot of the responsibility I put on Hayward, because he's not having the year he should have. But the sweet spot is he shoots well and Kyrie doesn't show up, and they're 43-0. I mean, that's what they're looking for. I'm going to analogize this to the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards without John Wall play better basketball. They pass better. Everybody eats. They move better. But they can't go as far without John Wall because he's actually their best player. Yeah. And if he's at the top, he carries them. Kyrie, if you don't have Kyrie Irving, don't tell me you're better.
Wait a minute.
You can't be better.
I almost always agree with that in the philosophy you're expressing now. But, Tony, they got to the conference finals last year to Game 7, and they should have beaten Cleveland. They played better without Kyrie for a bigger sample size. So now what does this mean?
Do you want to see Kyrie Irving?
Stevens,
do you say get rid of him right now?
No. You got to call Kyrie in. You can do it in the airplane if you'd like, because they seem to do their best work up there. And you got to say, Kyrie, we're going to go through some.
But how about the other night? They beat the Warriors by 33 with them.
I know, Tony, but the 7-0 and the 10-2, you're not paying attention to any of that?
I think you have to pay a little attention.
Yeah. Got to talk.
The great Neymar is steamed. His team, Paris Saint-Germain, was eliminated from the Champions League yesterday by Manchester United. At the heart of the elimination was a handball called on Paris Saint-Germain after the utilization of replay.
Come on.
Here's what Neymar had to say about that, and I quote, "This is a disgrace. 4 guys who know nothing about football watch a slow-motion replay in front of the television. It was nothing. What can he do with his hand while his back is turned? Go bleep yourselves." I think that's the headline.
I love that.
Go bleep yourselves, unquote. Wilbon, is Neymar right to be furious?
Yeah, because I'm furious, and I don't give a damn about that game. It's just like anything, Tony. People can take their own rules of sport, of their sport, and they can go too far. They can take themselves so darned seriously. What is this guy going to do? His back is to the play. You got visual evidence of that. Is there common sense guiding any sport? These days, the NFL needed years to figure out what was a catch. And it seems to be in international football, they're so carried away that if your arms aren't tied to you, aren't Velcro to your sides, somebody wants to call a handball. This is stupid.
So I will preface all my remarks by reminding people I know nothing about
You
soccer.
can see that. You don't even know
But
anything
I will
about soccer.
say this, that all 4 people looking at the replay came to the same conclusion. I sit here and I argue all the time for replay in American sports because I think it gives you the better chance of getting
But you know when
something
they're
right.
wrong, too, and you can say that.
But here, you mentioned Wilbon and I are old. We are really old. So to us, Vince Carter is a kid. And we're pleased to welcome the blossoming young Atlanta Hawk to this program. Let us start with this. You're 42 years old. Tom Brady says he can go to 45. Do you have a number in mind?
43.
Come on, you're going too well for 43. Now you're going to stretch it out one more?
Yeah, I think I could stretch it out one more. At the end of the year, I usually assess from top to bottom to see how I'm feeling, and obviously opportunity. When the phone call rings and teams show interest, that's a good thing. So, me personally, I think I can give it another year. So, why not? We'll see what happens.
Let me go back to Brady for a second. Brady just won the Super Bowl. Brady believes he can go till 45, and yeah, you're shaking your head. Why? Tell me.
When you're winning Super Bowls, man, of course he can go to 45. And you have an offensive line like that, and you don't touch the earth much, go for it.
Okay.
It sounds, okay, so one more year we know you're in for. Dirk sounds like he's hedging it. He's not really sure. But you told me the other day you and Dirk had some conversations. What are those talks like?
Well, he recently had ankle surgery, the same one that I had like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's been conversations about that first and foremost, and just kind of seeing how he's going to feel at the end of the year. But for some years now, it's conversation like, what are you thinking? 1 more, 2 more? So like 2 years ago, we were like, 2 more? He's like, yeah, 2 more. So it'll be an interesting conversation this summer to see how he's feeling now that I guess you can say I let the cat out the bag. I don't know. It's just it's something I want to do. It's definitely something I want to do. I feel like I can go another year. As far as Dirk is concerned, he's one of those I don't know, we'll see type of guy. So that's what he's been giving me lately.
Do you have, Vince, any secrets like avocado shakes or special foods, or are you doing stuff at this point to prolong it that are like secrets?
I tell you the truth, for me personally, I feel like it's a laundry list of things, but my willingness to do whatever it takes is what's getting me by, because I know I have to eat right. I have to train a little more than the average guy. Now you're seeing teams lift after the game, something I've been doing for a while, so that plays right into my wheelhouse. Getting my rest, all of these things, getting to the arena early, staying a little later, doing the things that I need to do just to make sure I recover after games. That laundry list of things, I don't skip steps. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that whatever it takes to survive and play at this level, I'm willing to do. And that's something a lot of guys around my age or a little younger aren't willing to do. And it takes a lot, but it's just I still love it.
So almost everybody you came in with, if not everybody you came in with, is out now. They have retired. Guys so guys who you were close with who have retired, when you have conversations, what do they say to you that you are still playing?
Let's take Antoine Jameson for a second. Sometimes I call the joke, I say, hey, there's some teams looking for a veteran. First thing he says, I hope they don't call me. So it's just, these guys are kind of just, it's out of the system. And I mean, it's different for different guys, and it's not out of my system yet. Dirk and I are the ones that are really holding it down for our draft class, and it doesn't seem like it's out of him. He still loves the game, but we'll see what this summer brings. It's definitely not out of me. It's just tough to imagine not being in an NBA locker room, not traveling, not going through the ups and downs of the league.
Vince, I got to say, the shocking part of this, to me, is when I watch you play, and I saw you play in person Sunday, when you throw dunks down at this point, at this stage age, what do you think now when you go up and you throw one down like it was 20 years ago?
What am I thinking now?
Yeah.
I can tell you what I'm thinking. It's okay going up. It's the landing. For me, I'm like, okay, we're looking for a soft landing. In my mind, if this was still the old days, the old style of play where the game wasn't as fast, I would hold on to the rim a little longer. Now you can't do that because teams are playing so fast. Now we play a fast-paced game, so if I hold on the rim now, my guy's probably going to get a layup on the other end. So it's kind of like get up there, get it done, handle your landing, and get back.
Let me get you out of here on this. You're playing with a team, Atlanta, that is not going to win a ring. They're not a championship team. They're not going to make the playoffs. Have you made peace with that, or did you say to yourself, you know, I wish I'd signed with a team that has a chance to win? How do you balance that out?
It's a pretty easy balance for me. I want to play. You know, like Mike said, like I get out there and I can still play the game. I can still compete. I think it's not guaranteed that I'm gonna play. Just sitting on the end of the bench just to win a ring is something I didn't come up that way. You know, and it's just something I can't do. To contribute as a mentor and as an example on the court is something I kind of want to enjoy. Yes, every player wants to win a championship, and that's something I would love to do. But to sacrifice not playing the game to do so to win a championship is just something I'm not interested in.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you, man.
Let's take one last break, but still to come, we will tell you about the early returns on the Phillies' investment in Bryce Harper.
And is Zion using Instagram to send a message to Nike? He shouldn't be.
He can still dunk.
Vince could do everything.
You can't dunk.
A tennis ball when I was 8.
Kevin Nagani, tonight on SportsCenter, what the Steelers are asking for Antonio Brown and a potential trade. Plus, Tim Kirchin reacts to Major League Baseball's new policy on lineups with expanded legalized gambling. And Stephen A. Smith's take on Rondo benching himself away from his teammates. Tonight, 6 Eastern, after PTI.
Happy time, people. Happy 22nd birthday, Luke May. The rare bird in big-time college basketball is senior. May has averaged a workmanlike 15 points and 10 rebounds this year for UNC, but 2 games bear special note. He had 20 rebounds against Boston College the other night, and even bigger, he had 30 points and 15 rebounds against Duke a couple of weeks ago. Granted, Zion Williamson didn't play, but 30 and 15 at Duke, that's a big deal.
Tony, he can rebound like a man. He can shoot the 3. Can he play in the league?
Wasn't that what you do now? You shoot the 3? Isn't that the automatic that gets you looked at?
Stretch
Can you shoot the 3?
Enough?
Happy anniversary, Kobe Bryant. On this day 9 years ago, you did not flinch. Look at this. I would have been down in a heap, terrified. But after all these years, there was some forensic evidence from an overhead angle that Kobe's head was not in the line of fire. That if Matt Barnes released the ball, it would have gone to the left, not into Bean's own bean.
People are stupid. Look at the footage. It would have still hit him. It doesn't have to be direct on. It would have still hit him in the face. Shut up.
Happy trails, Taj Gibson. The Timberwolves forward ejected last night for this elbow to the neck of Detroit's Andre Drummond. Drummond got really hot afterwards. He was looking for Gibson. Upon replay, you can see Gibson's elbow make contact with Drummond's neck, but to me, it did not look malicious. Indeed, Gibson said, quote, "I was trying to make a play and box him out. It wasn't malicious. I'm not crazy headhunting," unquote.
Taj Gibson's been in the league, 8, 9 years now? He has no reputation for that. There are no incidents. Come on now.
One omission, Chris Haynes at Yahoo reports that moving forward, LeBron will play 28 to 32 minutes per game and might sit out a game during back-to-backs.
He's not going to shorten his minutes. They can try to shorten his minutes. What happens when they did it in the past?
He doesn't like
keep
that.
Playing. Yeah.
Big finish, here we go.
Let's do it.
Adam Schefter of ESPN says teams are interested in trading for Bears running back Jordan Howard. Okay if he gets dealt?
Only if we get a back who can be that productive. Yeah, we. Mr. Bryce Harper, homered in a simulated game for the second straight day. Oh, I forgot he's gone.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Not anymore. No, not in a simulated game.
Simulated game.
No,
Stop.
Simulated game. Adam Jones still hasn't been signed. Does that make sense to you?
I have a guy who hit 280 with 15 homers and 63 runs batted in part-time and can play good defensive outfield. I'd sign him. Zion Williamson played video games on Instagram Live while wearing Adidas. Significant?
Is that a wink and a nod to Nike? Because if I was him, I would go to Nike and I would say, I want you to think of a number that you would pay me if I'm the #1 draft choice. Now I want you to triple it, and then I'll wear your sneakers. Last one, Pacers at Bucks tonight. What do you expect?
Man, the Pacers have been great without their best player, Victor Oladipo, but I expect the Cheeseheads to win in Milwaukee.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
I also like M&M's, but the plain, not the peanut.
Peanut.
Don't like the peanut.
Peanut.
Good night, Canada.